Welcome to The Sober Unicorn. We are a gay-hosted, all-inclusive podcast about sobriety and addiction recovery for the LGBT plus community and all of our allies. I am your host, Holden, and thank you for joining us today. Hey, everybody, it's Holden back here again with The Sober Unicorn. I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas and New Year's celebration. I know we've taken kind of a month and a half off. There is a lot of stuff that has changed and been happening in my life personally, that there will be another episode after this one, just to kind of give everybody an update on what's going on and what to look forward to in the future of the Sober Unicorn. But I wanted to get episodes back out to be of help to those that are out there possibly still struggling or just going through it in their own sobriety journey. So today we have a guest that she is local to me here in now the state of Florida. I met her in the rooms, and everybody welcome Elisa. Hey, Elisa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elisa.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good, baby.
Except both of us being tired as hell. We go to a very late night meeting, and so, of course, to getting home and winding down from those late night meetings are pure hell sometimes.
How many cups of coffee did we have last night?
I think I had 2, and you had 2 as well. That coffee was strong as hell.
Oh, it always is.
Like, let me tell you, people, Starbucks ain't got shit on a 12-step meeting coffee.
Oh, not even close.
So, why don't you give everybody kind of who you are, how long you've been sober, and if you do so choose to share your DOC.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Elisa. I'm an addict. And yeah, I'll have, God willing, 18 months clean at the end of this month, which is really, really exciting for me. And thank you so much for having me, Holden. It's really an honor. Yeah, I grew up down here in South Florida. I did not use in South Florida, interestingly enough. I, was born down here, raised down here, went to school down here, was a very good kid in school, very, studious, very good family. I worked really hard, but that girl, like in Finding Nemo, when she's like banging on the fish tank in the dentist's office, and she's like on the outside looking in, like I always felt that way, like I could never, like I was always on the outside, I was never a part of, right? Like even from a young age, like I would go to preschool and like kids would like throw rocks at me. Like I was a weird kid. I don't know how to explain it. Like I was like a nerd, and I'm okay saying that now, but I never like really learned how to communicate like my feelings. I threw a lot of temper tantrums. I mean, my sponsor says that I still throw temper tantrums, but I don't know. But there was a lot of like emotional struggle, right, from a young age. And, it's interesting because I didn't use as a kid, like from a young age at all. And, you see a lot of these patterns like as I progressed through school. And when I got to high school, I decided that I wanted to get out of Florida. I wanted to get away from my family, right? Like I wanted to be the young, like, person that like ran away and like became a hippie or something and like lived in a van and like never saw her family again. So I was going to get a scholarship and I was going to go away to college. That was like my solution, right? So school became my addiction at that age. So I did it, right? Because as addicts, we're usually successful when we put our minds to something, right? So, I went, and here's the other thing, right? Like, I have a disease that it doesn't really stop with drugs. Drugs are not the problem. Drugs are the solution, right? The disease that I have is of a spiritual nature. Like, whether it be drugs, food, sex, money, shoplifting, attention seeking, like I really have a disease of not enough. Like, what can I get? What can I get from you to fill the spiritual void that I have in me, right? So I, I get the scholarship. Oh, well, let me go back for a second, right? So there were times in my life that I had like everything that I thought I ever wanted, right? Like I graduate high school, I have the boyfriend, I have the popularity, I have the full ride scholarship, mind you, like to go to Boston. And, I was still ready to die. Like, and I think that that's really saying something because spiritually I was empty and I had never even picked up a drug a day in my life at this point. So, mind you, I go to Boston, I go, and obviously this is where I kind of start using. And at the beginning, it's like mindless, like innocent, like college, like partying, But even from the beginning, I was like passing out in the snow and like, like crazy stuff, like, like nobody really wanted to deal with me. And it was like that same like childhood trauma of like nobody wanted to be friends with me, And like, even though I had like geographically like relocated, right? Like, I still couldn't make friends, and I still couldn't find my place, right? And I actually found myself missing home a lot. So like another like part of my story that I think is really interesting is, and that I think like in my head, I thought set me apart when I got to the rooms is that I didn't do any like hard drugs, like the hardest thing I did was cocaine and like my drug of choice. Here's the thing, like people ask me my drug of choice, I didn't really have a choice, right? Like for a long time I would have said my drug of choice was weed, but like what brought me in here was alcohol, right? Like I'm a drunk and like like I was drinking against my will, like I could not stop, you know? But where was I going with this? I love when that happens. You're like on a roll and then you just kind of like, get messed up. Um, but
Oh, we were discussing how the fact of even though you're relocated out of state, how your drinking still like was never enough. The fact of you already went the moment you started using, you went overboard, which started pushing people away. So then you feel again, here I'm in a new state, college, a new life, but yet you still can't figure out. You're still not enough for these people. They don't want to deal with you. Same thing, similar to me in high school when I started drinking. I was, I think, age of 14 or 15, where I was literally not invited to parties because I was told that I drank too much and that they only had one bottle of tequila for like four of us.
yeah.
And they're like, well, Holden, you're going to drink it all. So we can't really have you there. But so you said after that, you started missing home. So you come back home to Florida, and did your using continue or did it heighten when you got back?
So I didn't end up coming back until I got clean. I ended up staying up there for like 7 years. And, like my using heightened, like I stayed with the same substances, but it heightened and, basically just led me to isolation. And, I did things that I said I would never do, like I began selling stuff, like I began like driving under the influence, I began like carrying stuff like, across state borders, and the isolation, like the sex, like the like complete like any like connection to the world that I had, like I lost. Like I completely became okay with like just becoming a passive observer of the world. And like that was like the real like hit for me because like as a kid, like even though I never like fit in or like felt understood, like I was always like working on a passion project. Like I was always passionate about something and like I loved learning, and I like cared so much about the world. Like I loved the environment, and like I just completely like lost hope in everything, lost hope in myself, and I was like ready to die, and that's like without even putting a hard drug in my body. Like, it's just amazing to me, like, you know, what the
Well,
disease can
cocaine
do.
is a hard drug, girl. And
Is
so
it?
so is so is alcohol. Even
Okay.
though in societal views alcohol is deemed as normal. I mean, it's a socialite thing. Um, the way the ethanol goes into your body and breaks down and everything like that is, I mean, it's very damaging to your body, to your brain, and to your spiritual well-being as well. So, of course, you said that you got sober in Boston, like staying out there. So, what was that final straw of like, bitch, I'm a hot ass mess and I need to get sober?
Yeah, so you know, after school, you know, the pandemic started, I was working as a bartender. Good idea. Let's put, you know, the
So
alcoholic,
many addicts as
right,
bartenders.
around the alcohol, right? Clearly, I was going well. And obviously I lost the job, right? And there was this one person there. You know, I don't think my higher power makes mistakes, right? And if it had been anyone else like that, like kind of had my intervention, I would have been like, yo, like, fuck you. Are we allowed to curse?
Yes.
I already did.
You're fine.
And you know, she was like, Elisa, like, she's like, she had known me for like 2-3 years that I had been working with them at this spot. And so she had seen my progression, like my rapid progression, right? And, you know, like, she was like, I know you. And she was like, this is not you. She was like, I was 24 at the point. And she was just like, you need help, right? And like, I had been getting scared at this point, you know, and like, I was so ready to die. Like, you know, like that was the end of the road for me. You know, I really didn't know what to do. Like, addiction doesn't run in my family. Like, I didn't know about the rooms. Like, I didn't know about treatment. Like, I didn't know where to go. You know, so like she said, like, you need help, you know, and like I sought out help. Like, that was it for me, you know, so I started going to meetings.
So once you stepped foot into meetings, what I would say, what kept you at the meetings and staying sober?
For me, I mean, because I didn't get sober or clean immediately, you know. I didn't want to. I didn't intend to, honestly. It was, you know, the promises of the steps, and it was the fellowship, right? Like, people were nice, and people said shit gets better, and people said don't leave before the miracle happens. And I felt like I had nothing else, so I kept coming back, right?
It was so funny that now, like, going to like people that long term sobriety or after 6 months to a year of being sober, when you hear that "Don't leave before the miracle happens," you're like, God, these stupid ass fucking sayings and slogans and. But yeah, when you're first getting sober and you hear these slogans, you're just like, oh my God, this is everything right now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, most definitely the fellowship. I am working a different 12-step fellowship these days, but when I first went in to a 12-step room, it was 100% the fellowship and the camaraderie between these people that made me stay. And I mean, even now, the fellowship that I work, the program, it's it's also the fellowship. These bitches crazy. Like,
Yeah, yo, they will hold you tight and they will not let you go.
exactly. And they're, I use the term hermafried because the fellowship I work now is mostly addicts. And, like, I would say they're permafried as fuck, which makes them even more fun. Because they kind of still act like those crazy selves when they were in active addiction, but they're not using. So they're good-hearted, kind individuals, but still crazy as fuck and loves to have fun. And that is the most important thing. Well, one of the most important things I think in any sobriety journey is to realize that just because a substance is no longer going into your body, like you can still be a very fun individual, a very fun person. So back to fellowship. Um, ooh, girl, that was not cute. Okay. Um, so back to fellowship. Like, how long were you in the program before being around the fellowship and these people finally made you wake up one day and be like, okay, no, it's time. It's time to get clean?
Oof. I was going to meetings. I was pretty willing to give up all of the substances but one. Right? So I did that. And like here's the thing, like I was still starting out, right? Like I really didn't think the substances were the problem. Like I thought I was the problem. Right? And so I was willing to do that. But I still like I liked the meetings, you know, and I was like, I want to start the steps. Like I want to get cured, you know, like I was like all like eager, you know. And I like had this sponsor. I'm still in Boston at the time, and I had this sponsor and she was like, "Yo, she's like, we're not going to do that. Like we're not going to do this work like if you're not truly like free of all mind altering substances." And it didn't make sense to me. Like I'm not gonna lie, it didn't make sense to me at the time. Obviously now it does, because like, you know, like if you're just replacing one thing with another, like you are still like numbing yourself, like, and you're still just like, you know, like distancing yourself from self, you know. So like it's really like not that different. Like it's just another substance. So, you know, she told me like, and thank God that this is what she told me, because if she had told me something else, like, you know, like if she had been like, you need to stop right now, like maybe I would have stopped coming, you know. But she told me like, you know, like keep coming, you know. She's like, do what you have to do, you know. But she's like, no matter what, she's like, just keep coming. And she said like, pick up a chip every single day, Holden. So like I picked up a chip every single day for 2 months, for 2 straight months. Yeah. And I
Girl.
did it, and I did it because I wanted it, and it was so painful. And like these people in Boston like started catching on, and they were like, bro, they were like, when are you gonna put like 2 days together, right? And it started becoming really painful, like, and they were saying it out of love, you know.
Yeah.
And I really never thought that I could do it. Like I never thought that I could do it. And you know, I'm grateful for it now, because you know, like now I like when I'm struggling, right? Like I get to look back and remember like, yo, there was a time when I never thought I would be able to get more than like 4 hours clean, you know? And like now I have, oh my God, I'm about to have a year and a half clean. Like I can get through stuff clean, you know? Like I don't need a substance. Like it's just pain, but pain is temporary, you know? Like we don't need to be numbed, right? So, you know, I woke up one day and like I think that my higher power played a big role in this, and I like, you know, had like a spiritual experience where I was like, you know, like shaking a little bit, like kind of like the exorcism. I don't really know, right? And like I threw it away. Whatever I had left, I threw it away, right? And so then, right, this is the crazy part, I find a little more, right? So then I use it for like 2 more days, right? Because that's the insanity of this disease, right? I had said like, yo, I'm done, right? And like 10 minutes after that experience, I was like, what have I done? Because that's the insanity. Like, I would not have made that choice myself, you
We're
know?
talking about insane. A friend of mine I was hanging out with yesterday. Um, here I am back to sobriety. Everybody will talk about this in the next episode, like more detail. But my journey. But he was going through storage and ended up finding substance. And he's clean now, and everything been clean for off that substance. I think for like 6 months, but he ends up finding the substance, and my immediate thought was, "Well, you got it with you. Like, let's do this."
Yeah.
And me, I'm in sober living now, and things, it's fucking crazy because if I pop on a drug test, I'm kicked out. I'm essentially homeless at that point. And so that's the insanity of addiction, is the fact of like, you're willing to literally throw away the roof over, well, I was willing to throw away the roof over my head. Thank God he was like, bitch, please. Like, I threw that shit away. Thank God.
Why?
I was like, But yeah, I mean, the moment he
But
said that
I
he
get
found
it.
it, my immediate
Yeah.
thought was, do you have it with you? Rather than, do you need help? Did you get rid of it? Do you need help getting rid of it? Whatever it may be. But so you said that the people coming to you after picking up these chips on a daily basis, which I think would be a super cute idea to drill holes in them and like chain them like for the belt around the waist. Just saying that'd be cute. But um but you said it was those people in the fellowship that kept coming to you and they're like, "Hey, are you ever gonna like string together a few days, a few hours?" So do you think it was like the not I wouldn't say disappointing look on their face, but the concerns look on their face for like your well being is what finally like clicked for you?
I think it definitely played an influence, right? Like, I saw people picking up like 30 days, 60 days, which, like, now may not seem like as much, but like, I wanted it, right? Like, you look at what people have and you want what they have, so we like do what they do. That's what they tell us. Like, that's what my sponsor teaches me. And I like wanted to make people proud, right? Because like that's what we're taught to do. Like, like we have people that care about us, so like, like we don't have to like live the way that we used to, like we don't have to like live recklessly, right? Like, and I think that was like a really early lesson of that.
Which
Like,
is good. And now
like
that you're
having
that
like random like having like random people that I like didn't even know that well, like that was like an early display of like love.
but something I think we put ourselves out there, especially in the early sobriety. I was a little slut bag, trying to be a
Oh,
little slut bag in the
oh
rooms,
boy.
but I fortunately for me, I would say I went to mostly straight fellowships of rooms, so trying to be a thought didn't work out for me. Um, but so now you're coming on. Of course, you got chips now. You're in key tags these days. So now you're coming on 18 months. Gray sweatpants season, gray.
Oh yeah.
How much better, I would say, before like so we can end on a very positive high note. How much better is your life now that you're 18 months clean off of all substances and living a program of recovery and having a very sound spiritual mind?
I mean, life shows up. I'm not gonna say life doesn't show up. There's been heartbreak, there's been loss. I wish I had more money in the bank. Who doesn't? But I'm back in Florida now, after doing like about 8 months of treatment. And, I'm on medication now for my mental health. And I'm just like grateful. It's like getting to do things like this that like remind me like how far I've come. Like I don't have to like wake up every single day like dreading the day. Like sometimes like I don't want to get out of bed, but I don't have like a reason to like dread the day. Like I have so many reasons to be grateful. Like I have connections to my family, like I get to see my parents. They both live like within half an hour away of each other. Like, and I never thought I would move back home. Like, I never even knew I was raised in the recovery capital of the country. And like, it's just a coincidence. I was raised here and I was brought back, like,
Is it really the recovery capital?
of the country.
Yeah.
Yo, find me a place in America that has better recovery than South Florida.
You know what? I
Maybe
will
LA, but like,
I will speak to that because I of course came from Fort Worth. Sorry about the noise in the background. And we got the trash man coming to pick up trash.
oh,
And not the trash that we were when we were using, but the
hello,
actual real
trash
trash.
boys.
But in Texas, man, I mean, a room of 25 alcoholics was a lot of people in that room. I mean, most meetings I would say I went to was like 10 to 12 people. Motherfuckers in South Florida, man, like, I really haven't been to a meeting with less than like 40 or 50 people.
Yeah.
And then I went to a meeting like 2 weeks back. It was like an 8 p.m. or whatever, I can't remember. There was 105 people at that meeting.
Oh yeah.
It was insane. And I was like, For one, okay, one, it shows you how good the recovery community is here, but it also shows you how many fucking drugs are here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what they say. The best recovery is where all the best drugs are, right?
Yes, and it's crazy how much support is here. That's the thing is, as people that are non-program based, I would say, discuss that they tell me that they go into a room and that they don't like the vibe, and so they leave and never try, but they never try to come back. Like here in South Florida, there's a shit ton of rooms, a shit ton of different people, a shit ton of vibes. So like, you will find the niche for you. You will find the group of addicts or alcoholics or crystal meth addicts, whatever, what SLAAs, whatever your addiction is. But like, yeah, the recovery out here is cray cray. So I mean, are you happy to be back in Florida?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, what is it, January? We're walking around in tank tops. I mean, who could complain?
Except when 2 weeks ago we were like 50 fucking degrees.
Yeah, but it lasted like 3 days.
I was like, I did not leave Texas for this shit.
Oh my goodness.
So is there anything that you haven't shared with everybody about your recovery, about your history that you would like to?
I don't know. I mean, like it's not all like, you know, like puppies and roses, you know. But like I'm grateful, like I was saying, and like everything that I've gotten through, like I've gotten through clean, and like everything that's coming, like I know I can get through clean. Like that's what we do here, you know. And like if you're struggling, like know that like you can get through it clean because like our predecessors have done it, you know, like, and like just, you know, follow the suggestions, like call someone, read literature, work your steps, go to a meeting, you know, and like ask your higher power to guide you.
And most importantly, fucking call somebody.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows you need help unless you ask.
Yeah, you know, it's really easy to isolate in these rooms. And I've done that shit clean, yo. I've like fucked my life up clean. Like we're fucked up people. I get it, yo. Like, you know, you're not alone. Trust me.
And the thing is, no matter how bad you think your addiction is or how bad you think the actions that you've taken to either get high or get your next hit, like trust and believe when you step into these rooms, man, you're gonna tell somebody your deepest, darkest shit. They're gonna look at you and be like, girl, that's it? Like,
yeah,
I did that 3 days ago.
100%.
So thank you so much, Elisa, for joining us here at the Sober Unicorn.
Thank you for having me.
And everybody, of course, you know me, Holden. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me that month and a half time to gather myself and collect myself and get it together. And I will release again a future episode to discuss that. But hopefully everybody has a fantabulous day. And if you don't, there's always tomorrow. Just no matter what, stay clean, reach out if you need to reach out, and have a fabulous day. Thank you again for listening to today's episode. Hit that follow button to be notified about new episodes every week. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us on Instagram at The Sober Unicorn Podcast or on our website at thesoberunicornpodcast.com. There you will find our episodes as well as our very own sober-owned shop featuring products from small businesses that are sober-owned. And remember, everyone, don't be normal, be a unicorn, but better yet, be a sober unicorn.